Hello, my fellow creative. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steffi. I am a coloring book illustrator and an artist, and today I want to discuss how I am making time for more creativity even with a busy life. So, if that sounds interesting to you, stick around and let's talk about it. For the longest time, I felt like I did not have time to be creative anymore outside of what I do professionally, which is illustrating, coloring books, coloring content creation. I felt I didn't have time for any other creative pursuit. Not that I don't love coloring, but I miss painting, I miss drawing just whatever I want, not sticking to a particular niche. I miss making music and singing even if I'm not the best. I miss the ability to try new hobbies. Like, I want to be able to try making little pieces of pottery and journaling more and writing creatively. I basically just kept holding out for time to slow down, even though it felt like it was going faster and faster year after year, month after month, week after week. Time just felt like it was accelerating, and I just kind of started to give up hope that I wouldn't be able to enjoy my other creative hobbies until I basically retired. That is until I realized it wasn't more time that I needed. What I did actually need was to remove distractions, remove pressure that I was putting on myself unnecessarily, add more structure into my day, and add joy back into the creative process. So, the first and most obvious thing to me to remove from my life in order to create more time for creativity was to reduce my screen time in order to replace that time with creativity. So, my screen time before was quite embarrassing, to be completely honest, and it wasn't even from scrolling. And people say, well, it's your job, so it's justified. But no, not really, because a lot of my screen time was literally spent checking my likes and my comments and my follower count and my metrics to see if I was improving, and honestly to receive external validation. And never made me feel good, especially when some things would flop and some things would perform well, and my happiness was way too attached to how my posts were performing, and I was checking those things compulsively. So that ate up a lot of my time. And maybe that's not the case for you. Maybe it is scrolling. But regardless, the first thing I did was just to decide to delete social media apps off my phone. And that was absolutely terrifying, let me tell you. At first, I was like, what if I can't log back in? Oh my gosh. I had contemplated a brick. I had contemplated the free version of the brick, and I downloaded the Focus app. I had contemplated giving my husband a passcode to my screen time, and then that I knew would just cause arguments. So that was not a route I wanted to go down. And I just said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just delete these apps. This is ridiculous. If the fact that I feel scared to delete the app, something's not right about that. So let's just get rid of it. And also, I had heard someone say recently that the internet used to be a place that we would go, not a place that we live, which is the case right now. We live in social media, we live in the internet. It's almost, there was a creator, and I'm gonna put her name here after when I'm editing the video, but she had talked about how social media is another reality that is separate from the reality that we're in. And I 100% agree with her. And so I decided that no, I am going to choose to live in this physical reality. And that has freed up so much time where I would naturally want to go and scroll to numb or check my metrics. I now have massive amount of time in order to create. And so work has also become a place I go. I have to work on my computer or on my iPad So when I'm out and about places, or even when I'm just out of my house, just right now in the front yard, I can't check my messages, I can't check my notifications, I can't check anything. I have to go inside and log onto my computer to do so. So it's only been a little over a week since I deleted the apps off my phone. And I've sort of come to the conclusion that I don't really want to participate in short form content in that whole economy anymore, that whole short form creator economy. I even unenrolled from the TikTok creator program the same day that I deleted the apps off my phone. I was like, bye, Felicia, we're out of here. And so I kind of decided I'm also not going to document everything anymore. I wanted to stop feeding a system that was draining me, the short form content. So I want to start sharing my art in a more intentional and slow way, such as YouTube or my Patreon, newsletter, and blog, and just accept the fact that it's not going to be instant gratification. And I also saw another video recently where someone said that IG stands for instant gratification. And truly, that is what we're chasing with these short form content social media apps. Like, we're just hoping for virality really quick, and all of a sudden, everything is solved and we're successful, and it's just as easy as that. And if there's one karmic lesson that I am to learn in this lifetime, and I'm fully aware of it, apparently in the last lifetime or in this lifetime, and I'm not really sure how that works with, all that karma stuff, but I know it's patience. And so maybe this is yet another lesson from the universe to just learn to be patient with my growth and my success, and doing it in a slow way, like a YouTube video, which I would only be able to publish maybe one or two a week, or a Patreon blog that I have to write and share photos. I also, if I do upload to Instagram and TikTok occasionally, I am only really going to share photos and text. So basically, I've decided I'm not going to really film my process very much anymore. Filming in itself is just like a whole production. It takes time to figure out your setup, and then editing and the posting and all of that. The whole thing, then the obsessive compulsive checking the metrics and the likes and the comments and the shares and all that stuff. And doing that every single day in this rat race of social media, because you're told, hell, some people post multiple times a day. And I can't even imagine the amount of time that takes up. But like, that used to take up so much of my time, just coming up with the ideas and then filming and editing. It's like so ridiculous, and I just am not going to participate in that rat race anymore. So deleting social media apps and then not participating and contributing to that system and creating content to feed it, so much time has been freed up. And then the other thing about documenting your process, this was talked about by Home of Ren. I'll have her video linked below as well. She talked about how when we document the process, it causes like this form of dissociation where we're almost watching ourselves create the art. And to me, to add to that, it sort of almost feels like we're an actor. We know we're being watched, and so it pulls you out of that creative experience. This is getting a little bit off of like creating more time. I just thought that was something interesting to mention on that point. And the other thing about that, again, I was equating low views, low comments, or likes to it have been a waste of time, which creates frustration, and then anxiety and stress, which eats up more time, and creative flow and ability to even want to create or have ideas to create with. Another thing I want to add to this is that it feels like in the day and age of social media, and literally how it's another reality, it's literally seeping into our physical reality. Okay, I'm about to get like really existential here, but it's almost as if creatives feel, and not even creatives, just people in general, like if you go on a trip or something, it feels like we have to document it and post it for it to even be like it even happened. And like, it existed, because we can't just appreciate the experience. It has to be validated by others' approval. These platforms literally make their money off of our insecurities and the cyclical nature of us constantly needing validation from these apps and receiving it and losing it and receiving it and losing it and continually posting in hopes that the next one will validate our experience. And so when it comes to creation and creative hobbies, we feel like we have to document it in order for it to feel like it was worth it. Like our time spent creating was worth something. And then even if we do post it doesn't automatically mean that it was worth it. It's only worth it if the algorithm and all that decides it was worth it for us. So, yeah, I'm no longer documenting like that. I'll occasionally record my process for some YouTube videos, but not everything has to be posted. Don't post everything you create and you'll free up a lot of time. The next thing I want to discuss is how I had to let go of, and I have to let go. All these things that I'm listing here are things that I'm continually trying. This is all new, and I just want you to maybe experiment with these things alongside with me. But something that I'm letting go of is all or nothing thinking. So this can be different things for different creatives. And the way that shows up for me when it comes to my creative practice is I often feel as though I have to complete one project before I'm allowed to move on to the next, or I have to carve out a huge chunk of time in order to do it. And if I don't have said huge chunk of time to do it, then I don't do anything at all. And I would scroll on the social media and check my metrics in order to validate myself or wallow in self pity. Back to the point of feeling like I needed to finish a project before I moved on to the next, I would have all these creative ideas and I couldn't wait to get onto those other creative projects that I would become so frustrated and bored with the project I was currently working on and just want to get through it just so I can move on to the next thing. Something that I realized is because of my ADHD, I have a lot of shame around the fact that I, for most of my life, have been a starter and not a finisher. And when it came to my business, I really love the fact that I have due dates with my Patreon. Like, I have to come up with rewards and I have to complete them by the first of the month. I love that because it's really helped me complete tasks. But it's almost become pervasive in all my other creative practices, even with like coloring and things, that I feel like I have to complete it before I can do any other creative activity at all. That has not allowed me to enjoy when I'm creating, but it's also not allowed me to um, make time for these other creative hobbies. So I'm basically kind of learning to stop treating creative time as something that needs to be productive, first of all. And I'm also deciding that it's okay to leave something unfinished and move on to the next as long as you come back and eventually finish it. And now I've developed this trust with myself over the last year of actually like completing things, completing entire books. I have evidence that I can complete a task. And so there's no reason to keep building that evidence. I know that I can. I'm allowing myself, when I start to feel frustrated or bored, or another creative idea sparks my interest, or things that I want to go try, it's okay to leave that project unfinished when it starts to feel like any sort of resistance coming up. I'll put it away and I'll come back to it later. And sometimes I just say, fuck it, I don't want to finish that. It doesn't bring me joy anymore. I think it's provided to me what it needed to provide, and that's that. Like, it's okay. It's okay to let things go. Anytime I have a little 10 to 15-minute pocket, I will journal a little bit, or I'll color a little, even if it's just a bush on a coloring page. I will color that bush. and it's okay. I'm basically just learning to stop before I feel too much boredom and frustration. Maybe you have a little bit of that all or nothing thinking as well, and it's okay. It's okay. None of this is being turned in as a homework assignment. My Patreon rewards, though, people are paying for that, so I have to complete that. So that is one thing in my life that, but I am learning that you actually have time for more things when you do a little bit of it each day instead of trying to cram it all into one session. And it reduces a lot of friction and stress. Next thing is I literally started creating more time for myself. This is the one thing on the list that did have to do with actually adding time. That is, I started waking up at 4 a.m. Sounds crazy, I know. But my kids wake up at 6:15 every morning, and that's when I used to wake up, and I would always go to bed. I always go to bed with them at the same time as they do at 8:30. So I was sleeping from 8:30 to 6:15, and as an adult, you don't technically need 10 hours of sleep, even though I loved it. And I realized that waking up at 4 versus 6:15 felt equally as painful. It's equally as difficult, so you might as well just do it. Just wake up. Just wake up, and usually after the first 30 minutes to an hour, you start feeling pretty normal. It's just really nice because from 4 to 6 p.m., no one is texting me, no one is calling me, so no one is interrupting me. My kids are not interrupting me, my husband's not interrupting me. They're all asleep. And then the other thing is like, unfortunately, as a mom, we often are the default parent, okay? And then in this generation, you can't just send your kids out to play. Go play with your neighbors, go play outside. Oh, go play with little Timmy down the street. Can't do that anymore. They can't even just play on their own outside. Back in the day, parents could just send them out, and then if I could do that, of course I would have more time in the day. These kids would want to play outside constantly. I'm out here constantly with them, so I do try and get some creativity done outside, but naturally, they fight or they want me to play with them, and it kind of interrupts the creative process. So I literally just, as a mom, have to create that time. So you may be in a position where you just have to add time. Some people, it could be staying up later or waking up early. It's really up to how you work. For me, at the end of the day, I'm just way too tired. There's no way I want to. I'm tapped out from taking care of the kids and everything. So, like, the thought of being creative, just no. For me, if it's the very first thing in the day that I do, I feel so much more creative and ready to go. And purposely, I've been dedicating that time to creation that's just for me and nothing to do with work, because I'm like, you have the time that they're in school to work. So this time is for you. Lately, it's just been journaling because I really wanted to get into journaling. Not so much art because I'm still like adjusting to waking up at 4 a.m. that the thought of sitting at a desk is kind of unbearable. So I like to just relax on my couch, snuggle with my puppy, and journal. And I never thought I would be a person that would want to journal the way that I've been journaling, because I'm always like, I already know what's going on up here, okay? I don't need to write about it. I don't need a dear diary. Well, apparently I have a lot of stuff to say, and it's like someone I get to have a conversation with when nobody else in my life really cares about what I have to say, because I've got a lot of creative cuckoo thoughts up here. So you might just have to literally add more time and just decide if that's nighttime or if that's morning time for you. Another way that I'm making time for creativity is creating alongside others in multiple different ways. My daughter loves to junk journal with me. She loves to color with me, and it's been a way to bond with her. So naturally, I already have to spend time with my children during the day, and it's something that she wants to do together, and so we create together. And also going to do different things with family and friends. If you're already going to spend time with them, why not go do something creatively instead of just like sitting together in your living room and quite frankly, everyone just eventually getting on their phone. Why not go do something creatively? I recently went with my nieces and we went to this place where you paint pottery. It was so cool. It wasn't like one of your normal ones. It was in this part of town that has Korean and Japanese and shops like that. Hey, how are you? You look beautiful. Orange is a great color on you. So that was a lot of fun. And then in my Patreon community, every 2 weeks now, it used to be weekly, but we extended it to every 2 weeks. But we do a buddy color and now like a journal. It's almost creates like a accountability partner in a way, and we all know that we're creating together, and I don't know, it just motivates me so much more to know like, okay, everybody's doing this together. I'm gonna make time for this, and I do. I think I maybe missed once, but I've been doing this since July, so that's pretty good. But like I said, I was waiting till I had like a full day, and now I'm learning to just do a little bit of it each day, and then it's a lot less stressful. And then we also started incorporating show and tells every other week now that we're not doing buddy colors every week. So every other week, people can send in the chat the things that they've created or are working on, and so that's also another motivating factor to like create something to be able to share. Number 6, I am going to literally put it on my calendar. I haven't done this yet, but most cities they have these art centers, and a lot of these art centers will have different workshops, and even libraries have free workshops. FYI, check your library. Libraries are amazing. And I want to start booking some ahead of time and literally putting them on my calendar, because there's so many different things I want to try that maybe I never even like thought of trying before. And I could just, even if it's just a refresher, like I recently saw one where it was like learning to draw loosely or like sketching from real life. They go on an evening around the city and then they'll like, it's like a sketch and walk kind of thing. And like, obviously, I know how to sketch, but it would just be kind of cool to get a refresher and do it along other side people. And like, again, scheduling it in. And it doesn't have to be all the time. You could do this like once a month, and just try different things. So that's something I'm going to do. And then on to my last point, I'm expanding my definition of creativity. Creativity isn't just like drawing and painting or even like crocheting or making something physical. Obviously, too, like creativity is music writing or music playing. You don't even have to naturally be like creating something, okay? I guess that's where I'm going. Creativity isn't always the act of creating. I'm expanding my definition of creativity of just participating in other people's acts of creation. I'm coming up with this on the spot, by the way. Singing a song, undistracted, but singing along to somebody else's song or learning someone else's song, like how to play it on a ukulele, or reading a book that forces you to imagine things with your head. That's creativity. Watching a YouTube video, but not just like watching it, okay? Like, or a film, YouTube video, whatever, and then sitting with it, reflecting on it, maybe discussing with somebody, like film discussion, discourse, conversation. That is creativity. It's not always just about the act of creating something, but participating in other people's creations. So, expanding that also makes me realize I have been participating in creativity even when I don't think that I am or that I don't have the time for it. You have time to sing a song, okay? Already watching movies, okay? These are the ways that I'm making more time for creativity in my life, even when it's really busy. And I hope that some of these ideas help you to do that as well. And if you have anything additional you want to add them in the comments. And I'd love it if you subscribe. I know this is a little different for an art channel because, like, I'm just talking, but I do want to do more discussions discussing just creativity in general and creative living, because that's something I'm really passionate about. I feel like I've pigeonholed myself into just being a coloring book artist over the last year, and I really want to expand that. I don't want to be just stuck into like coloring. I really want to expand upon that. And my brand of Steffi Colors, colors is literally in my name. I want it to be about creative living and creativity in general. So, if that's something that you are interested in seeing more of, then please subscribe, like, comment, do all the things. I'd really, really appreciate it, especially now that I'm trying to transition away from short form content and focus solely on long form. And if you want to join the buddy colors I was talking about and have people to create alongside with, check out my Patreon. And my last point is, if you like this topic of creating and maybe you deal with some resistance when it comes to creativity as an adult, possibly because you feel like it's not productive, then check out my video here, Why Adults Stop Creating and Playing and How to Get Back to It. I totally butchered the title. I don't remember the exact title, but it's right there. Or there. I don't know which side it shows up, but I'll have it linked. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.